I'm blinded by the light. It's that song by The Weeknd. That sounds a lot like, what does it sound like? Is it Young Turks by Rod Stewart? It sounds like, more so in the music and the synthesizers used than the melody and all that sort of stuff. Singing it because it's stuck in my head. It has been stuck in my head for a couple of hours now. I caught the start of the MTV Video Music Awards where The Weeknd performed that song on the roof of some building in New York City. It was pretty fucking sick. And that's all I watched of said award show. Here's the thing, I used to watch those kind of award shows religiously, you know what I mean? I would always know when they were on. I would know the time of year that they would be on, and I'd be like, oh, the MTV, Video Music Awards is coming up soon. Now, couldn't give a fuck about any of these award shows. It's funny how we change as people along the long and winding road of life. I would have been all about it back in the day. As recently as 13, 14, 15 years ago. Now, as I said, just couldn't really give a fuck about any of those things now. But that was a good performance. I know a good performance when I see one, but it was more so a good performance because of where the performance took place. Like The Weeknd wasn't really doing any although he was looking a little bit kind of Michael Jackson-esque in the Thriller film clip. He wasn't exactly busting out any moonwalk type of moves or anything like that, or doing backflips like Chris Brown. It was wicked because they just had it was on top of a building and they had a helicopter flying around, and they had really good shots of New York City and fireworks going off in the background. So that's what made it a good performance. Anyway, it is day 29 of the Non-Essential Podcast. Hello and welcome. If you're joining me for the first time, this is a podcast that I have been doing every day for the last 29 days now of Lockdown 2.0 here in Melbourne. And I plan on doing it for another, 13, 14 days. And then after that, I'm free. The shackles are off. Take the shackles off my feet so I can dance, people. Very, very much looking forward to this whole thing coming to an end, because I tell you what, doing a podcast every day for 29 days is a pain in the ass. Basically, that's what I thought would be great hasn't really lived up to expectation. So I think I'll just stick with other things for now. One of those other things is I'm going to get back into a bit of writing, people. I'm going to write some blogs, and I'm going to maybe turn them into 5-minute little videos about certain topics. I mean, I've got a list of 15 to 20 topics that I could write about at the moment. Not sure if all of them will actually see the light of day. Where is... I don't actually have the list in front of me. I mean, I could bring it up, and we'll chew up a bit of time, which is good. But I've always I hesitate a little bit there to say I've always enjoyed writing, because whilst I have, I also know that it can be a task that is, as anyone who probably is a professional writer, or even just a bit of an amateur writer, will tell you, it can be a bit of a pain in the ass task as well. Writer's block and all that sort of stuff is a real thing. Sometimes I look at a blank piece of paper or a blank screen, and rather than look at it as being this sort of infinite, looking at it as the infinite possibilities, I get anxiety about it. So, and I reckon that's probably true of any writer, be it professional or amateur. Where do I find... okay, hang on a second. I'll just pull up my list of topics that I have at the moment here that I may turn into some blogs or video logs or audio blogs, or I don't know what the fucking term is. What's this? Yeah, alright, just confirm that. Is that a helicopter I hear outside, or is that a very loud car rumbling down the road? I think it's a very loud car. We go here. Okay. So here's some of the ideas I have. If this thing will fucking open. Coronavirus obviously is one that, you could sort of do a bit of a thing about. But that also could just be too much of a headache. So I probably won't write about that. Another thing I have here is Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. I might do a bit of a piece about them and about that whole thing. That to me, obviously a very disturbing, sick, twisted sort of story, but it's almost I've thought a little bit about it and I've looked a little bit into it, not deeply, but I feel like it could be one of those, like, it could be the biggest story of our lifetime. When you look at some of the names and some of the people that are have been associated with these two individuals and all the rest of it, and if this whole kind of island thing and Pizzagate thing and all that kind of thing is true, it is, and some of the people involved, as I've said, some of the most powerful kind of politicians and celebrities and all that sort of stuff. If all of the names that I'm seeing associated with it is true, then it's the biggest story of our lifetime, isn't it? I don't know. So that's another idea. The effects of social media on relationships, or just the effects of social media in general. The effects of social media on fucking mental health. The effects of social media on just fucking people's lifestyles. Here's another thing I could write about. Chill hop / jazz. Now, sometimes when I sit down to write about things, I don't like too much silence. So I'll pull up a bit of a chill hop video on YouTube that goes for an hour or whatever, and just have just some nice kind of gentle, kind of hip hoppy, kind of jazzy sort of beats going on in the background. Find it to be a very useful kind of tool for writing. Here's one. I've got one written down here. Fuck, writing is hard sometimes. ... most of the time. Just about the pain in the ass that writing can also be, as well as being a great way to just kind of get thoughts out. Here's one that's it's very near and dear to my heart. Why Bane is not a villain. He's actually the background on my phone right now too, which I'm thinking of replacing because I'm tired of looking at him now. But Tom Hardy's Bane is just... I think I've mentioned this once before on an earlier show, an earlier podcast, that when you're jacked like me, well, not really, I'm fat right now, and you're bald, he's kind of the go-to character for dress-up parties. I've got a Bane mask somewhere, and I tried to. I don't know where. I seem to have lost it. I'm hoping it's still around somewhere. But I tried looking for it right at the very start of this whole COVID thing. You know, back in what was it, late March, early April. Because I thought what a funny joke that would have been to wear that mask out and about, you know, while I'm doing my shit and or driving around and all that sort of thing. But now I can't find it. I don't know where it's gone. I seem to have misplaced it or lost it or someone's stolen it. But why Bane is not a villain? I feel like it's a bit too. I see him as more of an anti-hero, and I can't really sum it up in just a couple of sentences. I need to actually, write a proper kind of thing about it. So it's not anything I can really give you one or two sentences of. Workaholics. I don't know if you're aware of this TV show, but it is fucking brilliant. Or at least it was. It's finished now. I only stumbled across it maybe a year and a half to 2 years ago on ABC Comedy, and they're playing him again. It's just a brilliant show. If you've never seen it, do whatever you got to do to find it and watch it. It's a show called Workaholics. It's very silly, but it's brilliant. What else have I got here? Hippos are terrifying. Well, it's sort of, they're, need I say any more? Hippos are terrifying. They are fucking scary. I think I spoke about this again on an earlier episode where I saw a video of hippos in Africa just tearing apart one of those huge kind of like Nile crocodiles, and they're just an incredibly terrifying animal. And yet whenever they've been depicted in cartoons and all that sort of stuff, they're just kind of depicted as like, lovable almost. I mean, you could say that about a bunch of like, cartoon animals. Yogi Bear is a fucking grizzly bear. It'll eat you, you know what I mean? Dan Andrews, ScoMo's hair, what else have I got here? Burping versus farting. Which one is more socially acceptable and why? Which is actually, I've spent the last hour or so actually writing about that one, so I've actually started work on that one. As you can see, I'm really going after the big issues. So, yeah. There's that. What else have I got? Scruncher versus folder. Toilet paper. Tomato sauce, fridge or pantry is another one that almost incites riots when it's brought up in conversation. And yeah, there's a few other ones that aren't as good as some of the ones I've mentioned already. So yeah, I'm really just looking at going after the big issues in life and in society. And yeah, I'm work has begun, and I've started. Pardon me. And well, speaking of burps, see that's an interesting thing, isn't it? Because I've burped before on this podcast. I haven't farted on this podcast, but I would think twice before farting on this podcast. Burping is, I don't even think about it. I just burp, So it's a strange thing. It's an interesting thing. Burping is more socially acceptable, but why? Why is it more socially acceptable? And I'll be delving into that, soon. What else? We've done 15 minutes. I could wrap it up now. And I probably will. Actually, thinking about it. Because I got nothing else. Nothing else has happened today. I've only been awake for a handful of hours, so yeah, nothing. I haven't given anything a chance to really happen today. What were the cases? The case numbers today, I think. So I think 2 days ago it was like 94 had been recorded over that sort of 24-hour period, and then I think yesterday it went back up to like 100 and something, and I think today it's gone back down to like 70 something. I get all of my COVID news. I get a lot of my news actually, but specifically I look for this every day. I look for my COVID news. I don't go to Google. I go to one of my Facebook friends and a former teacher of mine at radio school and current newsreader on Smooth, right? I'm pretty sure you're on Smooth. You're not going to hear this. Yeah, so actually, hang on, wait. Where are you working now? I'm sure you're at Smooth. Nicole Gunn is her name. She often reads the news early in the mornings on Smooth FM. But she's given COVID updates every day. And I go to her for the news. Lovely woman. Shout out to you, Nicole Gunn. And very informed. So, where was her update today? It was 73 in the past 24 hours. So, look, we're getting there. We're definitely getting there. But as I'm pretty sure I mentioned last night, or maybe it was the night before, I wouldn't be surprised when in about 2 weeks' time, when we're probably and hopefully given some freedoms again, if those numbers creep up. So we just got to keep doing the right things. And I think I said this last night, or the night before, but we just got to keep doing the right things, people. We just got to maybe even keep wearing masks when you're out in public for a little bit longer. And yeah, just play it safe, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So hopefully, I wake up tomorrow and there's been 0 cases recorded in this 24-hour period. But because that's a bit of a wave to go from 94 to 115 to 73 or whatever it was. But that's the thing. I mean, we don't know what the fuck's going on in the mind of this plague. So, yeah. I think the only thing I can really say is what I've already said, and that's just keep doing the right things. And life should return to normal sooner rather than later if you do the right things. So, anyway, I'm going to wrap this one up. I've managed to just waffle more than I've just about ever waffled before for nearly 20 minutes. So, that's good. It's longer than the last few days, I think. And this has been day 29 of the Non-Essential Podcast. Tomorrow, well, really, actually, technically today, because it's 2:30 in the morning, we are at day 30. So I feel like we got from day 20 to day 29 pretty quickly. And hopefully day 30 to 40 is even quicker. And then we've only got 48 hours after that. So, anyway. Yeah, we're done. The Non-Essential Podcast, day 29, done and dusted. Talk to you tomorrow. We're nearly there.